What is going on, busy bariatrics? Today we are going to be reviewing a product that everyone always seems to have questions in the bariatric community, and that is going to be creatine. This is going to be brought to you by Legion, who I do have a sponsorship from, so please take whatever I say with a grain of salt, as I do receive kickbacks from Legion. Where that money goes, though, is back to the bariatric community, and this has helped us fuel over $5,000 worth of free protein supplements into the community, which is, again, why I like Legion. Their product is Legion Recharge. It is billed as a post-workout drink. I personally use it for my creatine. So to give you an idea of some of the products that are in it, I'm going to read a little bit just because it kind of makes a lot more sense with it. When we look at everything, I lost my notes, so give me a sec. So what is creatine and how does it work? It's really simple. Creatine is a substance that is naturally found in your muscles and body, and it helps produce energy during short bursts of intense activity. Think of this for sprinting or if you are intensely lifting weights. And that's going to be like a key caveat that I want you to keep in mind as we go through with everything. It works by replenishing ATP, which is adenosine triphosphate, and it's the main source of energy for your muscles. How it works is ATP allows your muscles to contract and move. When you're doing quick, intense energy and activity like that, your muscles burn through your ATP, and you can actually burn through it pretty quickly. Please, please, please don't think that that's an alarming thing. That's just how the body uses it. Creatine allows your body to make more ATP quickly, which gives you a larger bank, which allows you to do a little bit more sprinting, a little bit more of your intense workout, and a little bit closer to your maxes as you go through. So that's kind of what creatine does. Legion's breakdown also has what's called L-carnitine. L-carnitine is a substance made in your body from amino acids. It's the building block of proteins, and its main job is to help move fatty acids into the mitochondria of your cells. Why does that matter? That's really where it produces your energy. So L-carnitine will take the fatty acids that are in your body, help it move into your cells so that it gives it an energy source. And when they get in there, it produces the energy. So L-carnitine almost like slides it in a little bit quicker and gets everything else in there for you. The third part of their product is L-tartrate. L-tartrate is part of L-carnitine, and what it does is it just helps move those transponders in and get fatty acids. Why you should be taking creatine is it really does help also with muscle recovery and soreness, and the tartrate itself has a little bit extra juice to help you with that. The benefits are this can give you increased strength and power during your workouts, but at the same time, you really do have to be working at an intense level in order to get any sort of result. So, for an example, if you are just walking and taking creatine, you're probably like wasting a little bit of your time and money. But if you're adding wind sprints, if you're doing burpees, which I don't recommend, it does give you that little bit of extra burst to get through those parts of your workouts. The same goes true with your lifting. If you're just kind of swinging the weights and getting to 12, creatine's probably not going to be a big difference maker for you. But if you're really fighting hard and you're getting every last bit of those reps, it is the creatine that's going to help fuel you, get you the energy that you need, and get that last bit of results of what you want. So there's always a lot of big questions when it comes around creatine. And you need to understand that creatine is the most researched product on the market. So I'm going to answer some basic ones that I get about them and how do I use it. How I use creatine personally is I take it every day. I take 1 scoop, which is about, let's see, 1 scoop is 5 grams of micronized creatine. And that allows for it to get into my muscle absorption. I don't necessarily take it before a workout or even during. A lot of the times, if I am taking caffeine or doing cold brew in the morning, you want to balance your creatine about an hour away from caffeine. There's been studies that have actually shown that taking creatine within an hour of caffeine consumption can sometimes dull the absorption rate for the product, but really just waiting an hour and taking it. So, for an example, I usually shut off caffeine around 12 every day. Are there times that I change that up? Absolutely. But then what I do from there is I will take it in the afternoon when I get done. So I wait for the afternoon. I'll put it in. What I like about Legions is it's flavored. So this one is Arctic Blast. It is a gem to have, and I love it. I will put that in. It's almost like helps me hit my hydration goal. I'll mix it with 24 ounces of water, so it helps me get to my water goal, and it really does help. It will help with increasing your strength and power during the workout. It also helps with your workout performance, and it can also cause faster muscle growth as long as you're training your muscles hard to begin with. The other part that creatine has been shown is to help with muscle recovery. That can also help reduce muscle damage and inflammation. So it allows you to come back a little bit faster with everything. If you stop taking creatine, will you lose your gains? Not necessarily, but you will lose a couple things. And let's talk about how that works. The first is going to be your loss of water weight. And creatine pulls water into your muscles, which helps with that recovery. It also gives you much more of a fuller look. So you will look like a little bit slimmer and thinner when you come off of creatine. There also might be a slight decrease in your performance because your body has gotten used to using creatine to get its results. And there might be a little bit more of a loss of muscle mass. So you're not necessarily going to lose a lot, but because the muscles don't have as much water in them, they can look a little tighter or a little smaller for that. Some other questions that I see: is creatine a steroid? It is not. And a lot of people may think it's a steroid if you grew up in a certain time during like the Barry Bonds, Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa era. They were all claiming it was creatine that was getting their results. And when in fact, they probably were taking creatine, but it was the steroids that was causing them to hit balls out of the ballpark and doing everything. When it comes to is creatine safe, it is the most researched product and supplement on the market. Even in the bariatric community, there's not much that is clear for bariatrics specifically, but there is enough on the market everywhere else that kind of handles what you need for that. Can men and women take creatine? I say absolutely yes. I recommend creatine to a lot of my clients, especially to help with muscle soreness, recovery, and performance bounce back. And we've seen some really good results from clients taking it consistently, helping them get their results and come back. Is creatine bad for your kidneys? There have been debates over that, but most of the research now has come out that it is not creatine that causes that. Can it make you bloated? Here's where it gets a little tricky. It all depends what you define as bloating. In the first 2 weeks of taking creatine, you may notice that your weight is going up, and that is because your muscles are getting used to absorbing more water that it probably won't do previously. So now that it is actually getting more water in and retaining a little bit more water, it will go up and maybe cause like a 1 to 2 pound spike for some people. And again, it really is nuanced based on the person and every other factor being absolutely considered. It's why I also don't recommend clients to start taking creatine on like a Friday, because I've noticed a lot of the times nutrition compliance is up or off. Alcohol is also being brought in. There's other deciding factors that can sometimes play a part of that. So instead, what I recommend is start taking it on a Monday when you're kind of eating relatively in the same pattern. And you may notice a little bit of an increase, but if you keep that same pattern of food, nutrition, and everything else, it is going to cover and get everything from there. So take it from there and kind of go from that. Do you need to cycle creatine? Technically, yes, and technically, no. There are research and studies that show in the first 2 weeks, if you go from 5 milligrams up to 10 milligrams, it does help you onboard and adjust to it a little bit faster. But if you continue to consistently take it at the 5 milligram rate, you'll kind of see that it tapers off after those first 2 weeks and then settles into the same thing. The more important part is taking creatine consistently every single day to get the results that you want. So if you're taking like 10 milligrams on Monday, none on Tuesday, then 10 again on Wednesday, 15 on Thursday, and then none Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're not going to get better results than if you did it as 5 milligrams consistently throughout or 10 milligrams consistently throughout. After your body starts to adjust to it, though, then you really don't need to take 10 milligrams, and 5 is more than adequate for that. Let's see what else. So that's kind of like cycling and loading creatine. Should I use creatine when I'm dieting for fat loss or only when I'm dieting for muscle growth? This is a great question. I would say in both cases, and especially after bariatric surgery, absolutely continue to take it as it helps with muscle recovery. As your body's getting depleted and eating in the caloric deficit that bariatric surgery causes, your muscles are going to lose a little bit of mass and they're going to be sore, and maybe you're not eating enough protein to get everything through. And creatine has been found to have some effects of helping with muscle recovery and preventing muscle loss. Now, at the same time, you still need to be resistance training and getting everything together in order to get that result. Does creatine cause baldness? There's really only been one study where it is shown it might cause baldness, and the sample size was a rugby team of 20 players, and it was a relatively short study. So there is a study out there that does show that it might cause baldness, but most studies have more than 20 people in them, so just kind of keep that in mind when you're looking at your research, your data, and everything else around it. Can it cause cramping? If anything, it can kind of help reduce cramping because you're helping hydrate your body a little bit more. It's important that during this process, you are getting the proper amount of fluids into your body. And what I recommend for clients is to get either half of your body weight in pounds and then 8 ounces for every half hour of rigorous activity, or a full gallon, depending on what number is actually smaller. Should you take creatine every day with the final question? And the answer is yes. In order to get the consistent results of creatine, that's what you need to do in order to keep it going. Hopefully this has helped, and as a review, you get an idea. If you've watched this and found it helpful, please leave a like and a comment to share what your favorite thing is. And remember that with promo code BusyBee, you get 20% off your first order of Legion and double points on everyone after that. Hopefully this helps, and I can't wait to hear your responses. Have a great day and keep getting busy, everyone.